All right, g'day. Hi, welcome. Don't know if you can see the 8 string back there in the corner, but it's back there. Okay, so what I got for you here is an interesting video that I thought I would just kind of steal from somebody else. So what you're looking at here is SG3 circa 2006, 2022, 2022 Jackson RR T5. I know where there's no tension on the neck there. I know it looks bad angle, but it's not. Um, Circa 2007 Gibson SG61 reissue, not a standard reissue, the actual reissue. And then my beloved PRS SE Mark Holcomb 6-string guitar. The 7 strings in the basement, the 8 strings sitting over there against the amp. I don't know if you can see the bass. As well, my Ibanez Geo. That's an LTD EC258 8-string guitar. And then way back there's my Takamine, whatever, 12-string, which I'm trying to sort the issues out on that. I got another Jackson Flying V sitting over here. Got a mandolin sitting here. Got another Ibanez acoustic sitting there. Okay, so today's video is, are guitars as investments are a bad idea? I saw this guy in Ireland made a video, so I saw his video and I thought it was a really good video, and it gave me a great idea for a video. And that idea was steal his idea and just make my own 2 cents of the. Oh no, my price tag came off my mandolin. Oh no, I'm gonna have to put that back on. Okay, guitars as investments. So I've owned 54, 56 guitar. I believe I'm at guitar number 56. Now, I currently own 10. It could be more. It could be more, but I think it's only 10. 2 of which are acoustic. The rest are all electric, or 3 are electric. Whatever. Anyway, I have to redo my inventory. And I've had some really cool guitars that you don't see here. I've had like a cool double neck. I had the Epiphone G1275 double neck, which I kind of regret getting rid of. Kind of do and kind of don't. But ever since I bought my Gibson SG3, I don't buy cheap guitars anymore, except for with the exception of this JS32 Jackson Flying V, which I bought just as a gigging guitar, which the idea behind that is that rather than taking my good guitars out to the bars, I'll take the cheap $500 or $400 guitar out to the bars. So if something bad happened, I'd be mad, but not as mad as losing something as valuable as that. So guitars as investments. Okay. There's a video of Kevin Leary. If you don't know who Kevin Leary is, love him, hate him. He's one of the richer guys in Canada, and he's a stock market guy, right? An investment guy. Owns property. He's a tycoon, right? And he goes into a guitar shop and says, and of course, he's looking at the Gibson section. He goes, "How much is that guitar?" The guy in the store tells him, "It's $7,000." And he goes, "That's an investment grade guitar." He goes, "So in 10 years' time," he goes, "that'll go up in value." He goes, "Oh yeah, absolutely." Now, number one, you're talking to a guy making minimum wage probably in a guitar store. There's no way he's going to know whether that guitar is going to go up in value or down in value. So maybe, even though Kevin Leary is a good investment guy, I think he's kind of shortchanging people on, what a guitar is going to be valued at. And this is where, for example, I have 3 guitars in this room that have potential to go pretty expensive, and those guitars are if this Flying V goes out of production until the new version of it comes out. Like the old versions of this guitar are exactly the same. There was a bolt-on version. The original RR5 had a bolt-on with no binding around the neck, and then there's a couple of similar versions of this guitar over the years, where there's a neck through version, I think previous to this, that didn't have the binding on the neck, and now there's this version. So this one I think is about to go out of production. I don't think I saw it on the Jackson website anymore. So this guitar could potentially go up in value, potentially. And there's also basically Kirk Hammett played a guitar like this. This is not a signature model, just similar to what he played at one point. The next guitar that would possibly go up in value is my Mark Holcomb signature guitar. If, they go out of production and, maybe 10, 15 years down the road, people really, really digging them and they really want them. They can go up, or, Mark Holcomb, something happens to Mark Holcomb and, not God forbid, and it goes up in value because you can't get, like Dimebag Darrell, you know what I mean? It's like having a Dimebag guitar. Some of them have went up in value. And then you've got my SG3, which is a limited edition run, which that thing has went up in value. I paid $1,560, which seemed outrageous in 2006, but it really isn't. Bang for the buck, that guitar has been a really good investment. In terms of just pure enjoyment and the fact that it's the best playing guitar I've ever owned and probably ever played. SGs they play so well when they're set up like that. It's like, it blows your mind how good they play. That guitar, I think they only made 500 per color per year, which they had the black one and the cherry one. And they only did them for about 4 years, back from 2003 to 2006, I think. Right? And I've seen them on Reverb for about $4,500 in mint condition. So tax and all, I paid maybe about $1,800. Interest on the credit card, probably not that much more. So we'll say under $2,000. So if I get over $2,000 for that guitar, it'll owe me nothing, and I could probably get that. So I could potentially make money with that guitar. But if that guitar becomes really sought after now, just because somebody on Reverb has tried to mark up the price of it and sell you rarity, doesn't mean it's going to sell, right? So maybe it sells for $2,500, or maybe, the guy asks for $4,500, maybe he gets $3,500. But either way, he's made money on that guitar, right? But the 61 reissue, which is a sought after guitar, and they don't really make that version of this guitar anymore. The closest version of the 61 reissue that they have is a custom shop. And guess what? That one's $12,000, but it's a faded cherry. It's not the... So if somebody wanted the custom shop, but they couldn't get it, they would look for one of these used. And there's a good chance that they would probably get one of these for between $2,500 and $3,000, which means you've made money on it when these things were $1,900 new in 2011, which was the last year, and about $1,200 new back in 1992 or 94 when they started to reissue them. And they've turned the production run of these things on and off a few times. So obviously there was 1961, and then I think they might have reissued it once after that, and then after that they reissued it in the 90s. And this is my favorite guitar of all time, just so you know. Now mine's not in perfect shape, but I would probably still get over $2,000 for it. And I only paid 16 plus tax for it. So, not bad, right? So yeah. So the guitar that I think could potentially get the most money if it did go up would be the 61 reissue. Hence why I'm taking that one to the grave. But I didn't buy that guitar with the idea of reselling it. I've had this guitar since 2009, and I've had that guitar since 2006. I'm not saying I'd never sell the SG3, but it would take a lot to pry that thing out of my hands, just because of the way it plays, and that's one of my most favorite recording guitars. It is going to need a new grounding and stuff like that. Electronics wear out over time, that kind of stuff, but it is one of my favorite recording guitars. It's just such a great guitar. It's a poor man's SG custom, and got a classic 57 plus and 2 classic 57s in there, and the guitar is just awesome. Sounds wise, it's mind blowingly good. For the vintage classic rock sounds, right? Metal, it's a little bit dated on the sounding. You need a more modern pickups like the Duncan Distortions. This is probably the best sounding guitar I've ever owned, in the sense of just pure thrash metal sound. This guitar is just, it's an absolute animal. The only guitar, the number 2 guitar for best sound would be probably my Hammer Diablo, which I no longer have. Now that thing I bought for about $800 new. And like most of those really extremely flat, thin necks of the 1980s and 1990s, what happened to those guitars most of the time, quite simply, was the necks would warp on them, especially when you do 274 shows with them, all year round. Yeah, you want to ruin your favorite guitar, play live with it. And that guitar, I saw it on Reverb for $4,000 in mint condition. So did it sell for that? Probably not. The average I'd see them sell for is about 400, about half price is new. Now that said, those are the exceptions to the rule. Now let me tell you what the average person is going to do. They're going to buy a guitar no matter what they pay for it. If they can get half prices new, they're doing good. They're doing good. You sell a guitar for half of what you paid for it, you're probably doing good. You're more likely to get maybe about a 1/3 of what you paid for it, or a quarter of what you paid for it. So you buy $1,000 guitars, you'll be lucky if you can sell it for 250 if you want it going for a quick sale. If you're like, okay, I'll hang on to it. When I first tried to sell my Hammer Diablo, I tried to sell it for half prices new, and I sold it. I was asking $450, and it sat in a music store at the time called Songbird Music, now known as Spaceman Music, and there was a $25 a month fee on that, right? So I had it in there for about 2 months. No takers. People say, this guy, well, a lot of people kicking the tires, but everybody's like, it's too expensive. It's too expensive. I ended up selling it for $250. Now I only paid 800 and something or whatever, 1,000 for it new. So I lost money on it. But in the sense, I didn't lose any money because that guitar paid for itself several times doing gigs, right? And that's about that. If you're investing in guitars to play gigs and make money that way, then yes, guitars are great investments. If you're buying guitars because you just sheerly enjoy them, that's a great investment. If you're buying guitars as a collector, that's that's gambling. Years ago, I worked in a music store, and there was a guy who was a guitar collector. I can't think of his name. I mean, this is back in the 1990s, and I'm 51 now, and 1990s was actually this was the